Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the video, and today we have more information from the developers of the new update, what's going to be in it, more information about workshops, and also some formation information for all you formation nerds out there, okay? Listen, we're getting close to the patch, I know I made a video where the devs were talking about the patch a couple days ago, and everyone was like, ah man, just a good old 5 more years to go, it is what it is. Listen, it might be quicker than that. Okay? So let's check it out. Let's see what the devs have to say, and let's go from there. Okay? So first, straight into it. So we got a person saying, patch question mark, and then adding the community manager. And he states, working on it. The patch is still in testing phase. So like the video we saw, not the video, well the video you saw, but the video I made 2 days ago, they have confirmed that it was in QA, which you guys have told me is quality assurance. To be honest with you, they should have just said QT, quality testing, you know what I mean? That's just me, but they're in QA, quality assurance. That pretty much means that they're testing the patch. What does that mean? That means that the patch is done. All the major changes are in the patch. All that is worked on. Only thing they have to do is they have to test the patch, and if it comes back with any like crashes or bugs or stuff that changes the game in a negative way and it makes it kind of unplayable, they have to change that, and then they have to do another test to see is it okay now. Now, this could take a couple of tests since they have stated that they were testing it a couple of days ago, and now they're saying they're still testing it. That means that there are some problems, some complications with all the stuff they have added that is new. So therefore, they are still testing it, and they're going to keep repeating that process of testing, seeing what the problems are, testing, seeing what the problems are. If they test and no problems come back, that's when they will bring the patch to us, okay? That could be next week, that could be in 2 weeks, that could be in a month. Who knows? But I think it won't take a whole month. I'm pretty sure maybe... I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket, but I would say next week is looking promising. That's what I say. But that's just my opinion. That's not the devs' opinion. I don't work for the devs. So, like I said, next week sounds promising in my opinion, but we shall see. Next, let's move on to workshops. So, where is it? Workshops 1.1.4, workshops better, but they're problematic. We did go over this last video as well. We got another dev reply. Pretty much, Flesson, which is another YouTuber, pretty good Bannerlord YouTuber as well to check out. He stated that, buying prices should be reverted back down to what they were before, because they did get increased a little bit to kind of help the economy, I guess, but he stated that it didn't really help. They should be kind of reduced a little bit, right? The devs talked about it, saying that there are workshop changes coming, and they're going to talk more about the changes once the patch is out. But it looks like the dev went ahead and started talking about it now. So what is he talking about? Okay. So your player is saying it's kind of late to add workshop levels now, question mark, after 3+ years since it was supposed to be a thing, and where it could be played around with up to the official release. Technically, they never said that it was supposed to be a thing. Okay. I know that the workshops say that they're level 1. As far as the devs, they've kind of consistently throughout development have stated that it's something that, a lot of players want, but it's something that they're not really focusing on. It's not their main focus. Maybe in the future, but very, very small percent chance of a maybe. You know what I mean? That's kind of that's been their stance throughout the whole development cycle. They've mentioned it throughout the development cycle, so I don't think it's going to become a thing. I'll be honest with you. They stated that it will kind of affect the economy, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go into it as well over here because I just saw the word economy as I was saying economy. But let's see what they say. The dev says they weren't supposed to be a thing as far as I know. There was a field for internal experimentation and potential future use. That remains the case. Exactly. As he's stating, wasn't really in their plans. Maybe in the future. Small chance, maybe. Pretty much as I stated. Then another person saying, I think it can be added relatively easy. If by workshop levels we mean workshops can be upgraded either through player investment or naturally through sufficient passage of time, amount of profits to provide X% more output per input material, or maybe buy input at a lower price for presumably higher fixed costs. Well, I'll be honest with you before I see what the devs have to say. I'll be honest with you. It's probably not as easy as it sounds. While I understand what he's saying, also a thing is if the player was AFK and just stood in one town for the rest of the game will still keep progressing. You know what I mean? Workshops will still keep working because it's not a thing that it's just owned by the player. If it was a thing that was just owned by the player, it would be an easier fix. The problem is, the AI lords, they control it. You know what I mean? The nobles in the town, they control it as well. So it's like, not the AI lords, but the nobles. You buy it from the nobles, but they own it before you buy it from them. And that price changes as the prosperity of the town goes up, how much stuff is bought. There's a lot of stuff that the workshops are interconnected with, right? Because they obviously produce stuff that gets sold on the markets. Now, if there were major changes as in like, you upgrade the workshop. By the way, me explaining this is not me saying I don't want upgradable workshops. I do want them, okay? I'm just saying, realistically speaking, it probably won't be an easy change. You know what I mean? And if you can't upgrade workshops, does that mean the AI can also upgrade workshops? Is there a downgrade feature? How does the economy react to it? Does all the prices eventually go up to keep up with the economy, or does it become kind of like an inflation situation? You get what I'm saying? Everything's interconnected, right? Let's see what the devs have to say. I'm not a dev. I don't design games, so that's just my 2 cents, but let's see what he has to say. I'm personally not a huge fan of the levels. Workshops are intertwined with the local economy, which has some outcomes that are not necessarily intuitive. In my honest opinion, most players would expect an upgrade to increase profits. Yes, obviously, you pay more money, you get more money, right? But if we were to increase outputs, that may overflow the market and actually lead to falling prices and losses. There you go. It's going to lead for a lot more supply, not as much demand. That means the price will have to go down to meet supply, and therefore you will actually make less for upgrading and spending more of your dinars. If we were to decrease costs, that may lead to AI workshops not defaulting when they should, assuming they are permitted to upgrade. Exactly. See? How does the AI work with it? Potentially making settlements perform worse than before. There you go. And if a settlement performs worse than before, well, then a lot more stuff happens. Then it starts affecting the villages that are connected to it. It starts affecting, how they build up. It starts affecting how the town builds up in terms of prosperity, how much gold they have on them. The lord that owns it might not get too much money, which will make the lords poor. And if the lords are poor, then all of a sudden you're going to be fighting hundreds and hundreds of recruit armies, and the lords will be starving, and you'll become kind of like a god in the game. If you are still, for some people it might be a good thing, right? But it'll make the game less enjoyable because it won't be as much of a challenge, if that kind of makes sense, right? But, my big but, I think they could make it happen. I just think it will be a very long and tedious process to endure and get to work on. That's what I think. Naturally, these changes can be overcome. There you go. Wow, I'm just saying what he's saying at this point. It is what it is, huh? Should they even come true as I imagine them? But even then, it likely just ends up with one-time interaction that makes a number go up. To me, something that improves interactively is more valuable change. All right. So, it's a maybe. But it's a small maybe. We're talking like small percentage. Maybe in the single digits. You know what I mean? It's a maybe. It's a dream. It's a dream some people have, okay? That's how I see it. Alright, now moving on. We have Order of Battle bug that has been resolved. Woohoo! Alright, so what is this? Summary. My warband of 400 something troops. This is the main guy who posted the thread. Marching towards a sieged castle. Upon launching attack, encampment, instead of being put into order of battle, it automatically started battle, disregarding the fact my party is well over 20 troops. Okay, enemy army of over 1,000 troops. Don't know if it's relevant or not. Sieging castle. Attack with the party from outside the castle. Okay, so he joined an ongoing siege and he couldn't do the order of battle. Okay. Which is like where you set up where everyone spawns, right? Okay. After a few battles, especially after siege defense, after attacking an enemy, I get order of battle view. I don't know if it's something randomly bugging. So he's saying he just didn't get it sometimes. What's going on? Okay, makes sense. So this person's talking about... Okay, so first we have this person stating, this was March 16th, so it's kind of far back, but just so we get some lore, because we have a pretty big dev comments coming up, right? So this person states, which is a community support, talks to the devs, says, I've been informed that when a player is the third party on the quest caravan ambush, or when the player is not the faction leader on the siege defenses, or the player is not the owner of a sieged settlement on defense of order of battle is disabled. It is intended, not a bug. Thank you for reporting. Okay, so pretty much he's stating there's some times when it won't pop up. When you're not the main guy doing the siege, when you're not the leader, and also in the quest caravan ambush, you're not going to get it if you're the third party. Okay, so there you go. Some people might like that, some people might not like that. Tis what it is, right? Now let's see what the devs have to say. Here are the two dev comments. Let's do it. So the dev states, the game supports 8 formations per side in missions. The commanders of each side have the ability to issue order of these formations. So if the player is not the commander, they do not have this ability. So you have to be the main guy. You got to be the leader, commander. Player captains have the ability to issue orders to the formation they lead. Okay, so if you are instructed as a commander of one formation, that is what you can lead, not the whole army. From what I can recall, the commander score is determined by something like this. Commander score, I'm guessing that's how you get picked as a commander, right? If character is a clan member, if character is a clan leader, add clan tier times 1,000. Otherwise, add clan tier times 20. Okay. If the character is king, add extra 2,000 points. If the character is army leader, add 200 points for each party in the army. Then add numbers of soldiers in the party. In sieges, the ownership of the settlement may be also relevant, though I'm not sure about that. If you are never the commander in 3-party actor fights, when you are the king, lead an army, have the most troops, that would be the bug. The fundamental system of seniority is not new. It's been a part of the game even prior to EA. I will double check regarding the access to OOB screen though, which is the order of battle screen. What he's stating is very simple. When you go into one of these sieges, right? The game automatically does these calculations. And if you come out with a bigger number at the end, you are the leader of that army, right? Technically, right? What will help you become the leader of that army? There it is. If you are the clan leader of a clan, then whatever your clan tier is, let's say it's 3, it will be 3 times 100. That will give you 300 points for that. But if you are not the clan leader, in your clan tier 3 still, you only get 60 points instead of 300. Okay? If you are the king of your kingdom, well, you'll get a bonus 2,000 points, which is a lot. And then if your character is an army leader, then you'll add 200 points for each party. Let's say you have 10 parties in there. That's another 2,000 points. So what it's saying is, and then obviously the number of soldiers, you get 1 for each soldier. Okay? So, very simple. Whoever gets the highest number. If you're sieging, and let's say you're a vassal, and you're sieging with the king, he's probably going to be the leader. Let's be honest. Even if he's not the army leader, he might still take over the position of the leader because he's the king, and that 2,000 extra points is quite significant, especially if the army leader does not have too much, you know what I mean, people in his army. I mean, too much parties in his army, and also his clan tier is not high enough, or he's not the leader. So again, that's how the calculations work. I think that makes sense. I think this is, personally, I don't think it's a bad system, but I don't really focus on too much formations, really. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I pick at it, but I don't go too far in, but I know a lot of people do. So maybe I'm not the best guy to ask. As a king and clan leader, do the caravan ambush mission. You get no pre-battle formation, and you get thrown into the battle in some basic formations with your units willy-nilly. So yes, there is an issue here. Okay, so a person doubled down and said, nope, this is still an issue. Okay. And then the developer says, my initial guess was that the quest party does not recognize you as a member of the same faction. Sometimes they are not true faction members. From what Flesson describes, this seems to be broader. I will share a note from when I learn more. Okay, so we will have further responses later on. There it is. That will do it. Quickly go over what happened in this video. Kind of long. First, patch is coming soon. Maybe next week. Maybe in 2 weeks is what I kind of predict. Because obviously it's the weekend, and they don't usually release on the weekend. Because obviously, if a patch comes out and it's a big patch, you will need to do a lot of hot fixes. So on the weekend, obviously people take their breaks. They're developers. They have jobs and they also have families and they need downtime. So obviously, weekends are off time. Makes sense. Then workshop levels, still very small, maybe, because yeah, it would be a hard thing to implement, and I guess maybe they're trying to find another way to implement it to make it more interactive, as he states right over here, instead of just like a one-time, you pay more, you get more, right? Then we have the last thing. This is how it's determined if that screen will pop up, the order of battle screen, where you get to like select who are the leaders of each formation, and also where you put the troops. That screen. That is how it's calculated. As you can see, we just went over it. That will do it for me, and I will see you in the next video.